Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
Liberty Counsel has launched the I Second the First Amendments Worth Defending campaign. I am Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. Matt, this bumper sticker that we've created, I Second the First Amendments Worth Defending, and it has a colonial person with one of the rifles of the early American Revolution there, is really the idea that the First Amendment is necessary, and oftentimes the First Amendment freedom of religion, freedom of speech throughout history has been threatened. It is an inalienable right. It's a right that does not need to be put down in writing, and thus many people didn't think we needed a Bill of Rights because that was understood. We had the inalienable right to freedom of speech and freedom of religion, freedom to redress our government, and also we had the right to defend ourselves, to bear arms. When those rights are threatened, oftentimes, as the revolutionaries did, they ultimately defended themselves. If you ultimately take away the Second Amendment, you weaken the First Amendment. Mm-hmm. If you threaten the First Amendment, people sometimes rely upon the Second Amendment to make sure that their freedoms are not ultimately trampled, and that's what they did in the American Revolution. These are amendments that go hand in hand. Yeah,
absolutely, and they put them together in this order, first and second, freedom of speech, association, religious expression, and the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. And that means the right to bear arms despite what the left may claim, not just so they could have a little pea shooter and go squirrel hunting. That was the right to bear arms for defense, personal defense, and defense against a tyrannical government. Should our government become tyrannical, like at the time the Crown in Great Britain?
Well, and people that think that the right to bear arms is the right to go out duck hunting, don't have any clue about our First Amendment or Second Amendment or the early American history. The Second Amendment says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Let's stop there for just a minute. Does a well-regulated militia refer to the current standing armies that we have, the Marines, the Air Force, the Navy? No, it doesn't. Why? Because the Constitution really didn't envision that kind of situation. A well-regulated militia is the necessary to the security of a free state. We're talking about the individual states, not the federal governments, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and so forth, Army. It says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. What right of the people? It's not the Second Amendment giving you a right. Otherwise, it would say that the people shall have the right to bear arms. It says the right of the people shall not be infringed. What it's referring to is this pre-existing unalienable right of self-defense. The right of the people shall not be infringed. This is a right that predates the Second Amendment. This is not a right that comes from the Second Amendment. We don't have the Second Amendment right to bear arms. We have the inalienable right to bear arms, and the Second Amendment just simply affirms that as a natural right. So this predates the Second Amendment, and it's not because of that amendment that we have this liberty.
Yeah, and you need only look to the statements of the founders themselves to affirm what you're saying here. Listen to George Mason. He said, "I ask, sir, what is the militia? It is the whole people. To disarm the people is the best and most effectual way to enslave them." Listen to Richard Henry Lee. A militia, when properly formed, are in fact the people themselves. And Samuel Adams said this, And that, he said, Constitution be never construed to authorize Congress to infringe the just liberty of the press or the rights of conscience, or to prevent the people of the United States who are peaceable citizens from keeping their own arms. This is a no-brainer. It's not debatable. The left is completely wrong. I think they know they're wrong. They just don't like this particular amendment. But there's an amendment process if they want to try to undo it. It's never going to happen. However, I don't even think that works, because there are certain unalienable rights that are self-evident rights. The right to protect yourself, self and your family certainly is one of those unalienable rights.
No question about it. We think about the American Revolution, and they wanted to make sure that their rights to bear arms were not infringed. And in fact, if you go to Williamsburg, colonial Williamsburg, you will find there the history that is reenacted with respect to how the governor of Great Britain came in and, remember, took the arms. It took the weapons of the colonialist. It made Patrick Henry and others so mad that they had actually infringed on that unalienable liberty that they gathered the people, stormed after the soldiers, and force them to give back the arms. And you can walk in that basic area where that is reconstructed, where those arms were actually taken. But that was part of what ultimately tipped them over into the American Revolution.
And Matt, every time we have a horrible tragedy where someone criminal shoots up, like at Sandy Hook or the Batman slayings there in Aurora, Colorado, the left just starts almost drooling at the opportunity to shamelessly exploit those tragedies for political expediency in order to try to trample the Second Amendment. Forbes recently had an article, NRA winning the influence battle over gun control. Every time one of these tragedies happens, the left overplays their hand. They jump in both feet first and try to exploit the opportunity to do away with the Second Amendment without any kind of amendment process, unilaterally through executive or congressional legislative fiat. They don't have the authority to do that. And even Forbes is admitting that the NRA, i.e. Those who support the Second Amendment, are winning the influence battle over this gun control.
And somebody might say, well, why do you need an AR-15? It looks like a military weapon. Well, first of all, it's not a military weapon. It looks like a military weapon. The military weapons actually are automatic, or they'll shoot at least short burst of automatic. And the current AR-15s are semi-automatic. You have to pull the trigger every time. It looks like a military weapon, but it's not a military weapon. But the right to bear arms is the right to have certain compatible kinds of arms to what your opponents would ultimately have.
Yeah, commensurate with a contemporary.
The right to bear arms is not, well, you can have
technology.
5 stones in a slingshot while your opponent has a revolver that shoots 6 bullets. Yeah. The right to, that doesn't give you the right, that doesn't give you protection.
Unless you're David.
Unless you're David, yeah. If you're David, then and you have God on your side, certainly.
But we're not David.
You can go up against giants. But I mean, the right to bear arms is the right to be able to have some ability to defend yourself. And this discussion about limiting 30-round mags or so-called assault weapons. A real assault weapon is an automatic, not a semi-automatic. That's what the real definition of an assault weapon is. So this whole discussion is really a smoke and mirrors. In fact, if you move over to, I think it's Switzerland. Switzerland doesn't have a standing army.
No.
The people are armed. And that's one of the lowest crime rates in the world because you have everybody that has their own arms. They're all have their own arms. If you go to other countries where they have disarmed the people, you have high crime rates. Look at even here in the United States.
Florida.
You have... crime rates in Florida have gone down. Gun ownership has gone up around the country. Crime rates have gone down around the country. At the same time, gun ownership has gone up.
That's because criminals are cowards. And if they're wondering, does that guy over there, or is that little old lady over there that I'm about to rob, is she carrying a .357 in her purse? That offers a deterrent for the criminal to try to engage in their malfeasance.
Well, I want to encourage you to go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org, and ask for the bumper sticker, I Second the First. We're actually having some billboards that will be in several states that have this bumper sticker on them as well. you can get the bumper sticker, I Second the First. It's the idea that you support both the First and the Second Amendment to the Constitution. It says underneath, amendments worth defending. I Second the First bumper sticker. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, ask for it, lc.org, or you can call 800-671-1776. That's 800-671-1776. The First and Second Amendment of the first 10 amendments, they're just simply acknowledging that we have certain pre-existing unalienable rights that come from God, predate the Constitution, predate government. They're just affirming a natural fact. This effort to have gun control is an effort to ultimately take away those natural rights given to us by God to defend ourselves and to speak freely and to worship Him. Go to Liberty Counsel's website today. Ask for I Second the First bumper sticker, lc.org.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.